For today's episode, from STI Global City Taguig, we're going to the Manila's historic walled city, the Intramuros. Our group is feeling thrilled and ready to see how aesthetic Intramuros Manila is, especially the Plaza Moriones.
Manila, I keep coming back to Manila. Simply ain't no place like Manila. Manila, I'm coming home. I walk the streets of San Francisco. I've tried the rides in Disneyland. Dated a million girls in Sydney.
Welcome to Plaza Moriones!
On the side of Plaza Moriones, there are stores of food and souvenirs that you might like, as well as benches and chairs to sit on if you're feeling tired.
Mga babae mong nagagandahan, take me back in your arms, Manila, and promise me you'll never leave.
There are also a lot of tourists who are accompanied by tour guides and are listening intently to what they are saying about the history and etc.
While roaming inside the Plaza Moriones, we encountered one of the tour guides whose name is Kuya Jerome. He is a historical guide because he leads tourists into ruins and other historical sites around Plaza Moriones. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm here at Plaza Moriones in Intramuros, Manila, and today, I have a special guest for this interview. So, sir, I'm John Patrick Rivera from STI Global City, Taguig.
And I'm Jerome, Jerome Relante.
Okay. Nice to meet you,
I've been
sir.
an Intramuros guide for a decade already.
Wow. Okay, sir, I have a few questions regarding on this place, so I need your answer. Okay.
No worries.
Okay. So, for the first question, for how long have you been working in this industry?
Well, I've been working as a tour guide since 2010. But as an Intramuros tour guide, that was way back 2013. So it's around 13 years as a tour guide.
Wow, 13 years. It's been a long. Okay, sir, can you tell us about your role here in Plaza Moriones and how it benefits in the community, this place?
As a tour guide, our role is to educate the tourist, local and foreign tourists, about the history of this area, the history of Fort Santiago, and history of the Plaza Moriones. Aside from educating them about the area, we're also tasked to give them hospitality here in this vicinity.
Wow. Okay, sir. Next question. How will you consider that you're one of the stakeholders or one of the employee here in Plaza Moriones?
Well, as a stakeholder, you should have first concern with the area. And being a tour guide here for almost a decade, I've shown much concern here. We showed our, what do you call this? There are plenty of times that we showed our interest in preserving this area. Just like in 2016, this area was this area underwent renovation, and we were part of those group who resisted the renovation of this area. Being a stakeholder doesn't only mean that you should benefit money from the area. You should also show respect, or you should show concern and protect the area from any harm that it would have.
I totally agree with you, sir. Okay, sir. Next question. What is the most memorable event that you encountered while working here in Plaza Moriones?
Way back 2017, I started working as a Calesa tour guide. And for the Calesas, their terminal would be here. And that's when I started working as a Calesa tour guide for the whole Intramuros. So I can say that Plaza Moriones, it was my stepping stone for being the horse-drawn carriage tour guide.
Okay. Okay, sir. Next question. When did tourism in Plaza Moriones to grow and how?
It was 1991.
1991.
Take note that before Plaza Moriones, this was a parking area
Oh,
way back
parking area.
1970s. The buses and trucks would park on this side.
Okay.
So it was just a parking area, and everyone would just go there in Fort Santiago. That's the only place that they know here in Intramuros, Fort Santiago, and they would always ignore Plaza Moriones. Um, it became part, or it became a tourist spot by 1991. I'm sure you've seen the fence at the front.
Yes.
That's from Madrigal. And
Madrigal.
when they put that fence there, they integrated Plaza Moriones as part of the Fort Santiago history, which should be. It should be because take note that this is the only place here in Intramuros where you can see this guy, Raha Sulaiman.
Oh.
And Raha Sulaiman, he was the first or the last Muslim ruler of Manila. He's one of those forgotten heroes. And Plaza Moriones is the only place that could remind the foreign tourists or the local tourists about the heroism of this forgotten hero. Well, if I were to ask, I would be glad, or it would be better to rename this Plaza Raha Sulaiman.
Wow, that's interesting. Can you tell us about Raha Sulaiman if you have any trivia about him?
Yeah, no worries. As early as 1500s, Manila was already Muslim. The first Muslim ruler was Raha Matanda, who was his uncle. And then in 1571, as we all know, the Spaniards would arrive here in Manila, and they would set their eyes here in the city. Raha Sulaiman, he was the guy who would resist the Spanish invasion. And he should be credited as the first Philippine hero,
Wow.
Raha Sulaiman. Because when the Spaniards came here, Raha Sulaiman tried to unite the neighboring islands against the Spaniards. Unification is one of the first requirements of being a nation, and he had a nationhood in his mind when he fought the Spaniards. But yeah, he would be defeated. Of course. But the thing is, we won't credit him as the first Philippine hero because he's a Muslim.
Oh.
Or Philippines is a Catholic country. It would be absurd for a Catholic country to honor a Muslim hero. I mean, Sultan Kudarat is a hero,
Yes.
but we never give him credit. Same with Raha Sulaiman.
Wow, that's interesting. The story of Raha Sulaiman. Okay, so let's move to another question, sir. I ask you, as a person working here in Plaza Moriones, will you recommend this place to other people who haven't thought of or visited this plaza yet?
Yes, absolutely. The history of Intramuros or the history of Manila would start here in this area. When I say this area, I'm referring to Plaza Moriones and Fort Santiago. Plaza Moriones and Fort Santiago, you cannot separate the history of these two sites. Just like what I told you a while ago, Raha Sulaiman started here. Okay. Based on some accounts, the headquarters of Raha Sulaiman would be somewhere here in this area or there in Fort Santiago. Okay. So let's say that studying Plaza Moriones and the history of Fort Santiago would be studying our origin as Filipinos, the origin of the Filipino mantra of never say die.
Yes.
I mean, in our national anthem, Lupang Hinirang, we would say, ang mamatay na, what's that? It's like that. It will be honor for us to die for our country.
Yes.
And that's what these brave native Muslims have shown. And we can only tell that to the tourists, we can only tell that to the local tourists and foreign tourists if we bring them here in Plaza Moriones. Plaza Fort Santiago.
Wow. I think I'm going to recommend this place too to all my friends because it must visit this place. Okay, sir, for the last question before we end this interview, what place or destination here in Intramuros, Manila will you recommend for us to visit today?
Okay. Aside from Plaza Moriones and Fort
Yes.
Santiago, I've been mentioning these two sites a while ago. So I think the other place to visit here in this area would be the Puerta, or no, I'll go for the Plazuela de Santa Isabel. Plazuela de Santa Isabel, just few blocks away from the Manila Cathedral.
Okay.
It's a memorial. It's a war memorial. It's a memorial for those civilians who died during the Japanese occupation. The thing about that memorial, of course, as a memorial, it should allow commemoration.
Yes.
But the thing is, the present generation is not showing respect to that plazuela. Probably if you visit that one, if you visit that site, you can pay respect to those fallen civilians during the Second World War.
Wow, I think I'm a bit speechless about this history of this place, and I think you have any like ideas for this place, and I think I'm going to go or visit again this place. And thank you so much, sir, for doing this interview, for making time for this interview, and I hope I'm one of your tourists someday here in Plaza Moriones.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Intramuros, also known as Old Manila, Intramuros is home to the city's iconic and historic landmarks that have been built during the Spanish occupation in the Philippines.
Plaza Moriones is magnificent because it is really wide, lined by several trees, and bound on both sides by Moriones Street.
Manila Cathedral showcases a Romanesque revival in neo-Romanesque style, and praying inside, it is like a bizarre experience because of its style, detailed symbolic representations, and many more.
As we saw historical places and things from the past that can only be seen inside the Fort Santiago, we went out with new knowledge, images, and structures that we'll keep in mind, and a smile on our faces.
On the side of Plaza Moriones, there's also the Raja Sulaiman mural, which was executed by the students from Mapua University and is dedicated to Raja Sulaiman.
In the other part of Plaza Moriones, you will see the famous Binondo Intramuros Bridge while roaming inside of Plaza Moriones. This bridge connects Pasig and Cainta through the Mangahan Foodways East Bank to West Bank Bridge.
In just a one day, we went to some of beautiful places Intramuros has to offer, especially the Plaza Moriones, which is a public square in Intramuros, Manila. From roaming around inside the Plaza Moriones, knowing the history of Fort Santiago, praying inside the Manila Cathedral, and many more. Plaza Moriones may be a destination that most of us have been to before, but every time we go back here, it's definitely a different experience.